It always warms my heart when I see people leave during the opening credits. It's like they're like, what the hell is this? I'm getting out of here. Card number 19 for the 1953 Bowman Color set. It's Al Dark with his face right up into the camera lens, mugging for those New York Giants. And while we're looking at this Al Dark card, it reminds me of this book that I'm reading, Yogi, A Life Behind the Mask. Wonderful cover. I'm not too far into this book, but I want to share this because I've shared this card before. And shout out to our friend Kurt from Brooklyn, who I'm pretty sure is in the chat. Al Dark is helping me keep my place in the book. You can see this was actually signed by Al. But just in case Mookie's here, no one has filled out the stats for this year. But nevertheless, it is a nice copy of Al's card, and he's keeping pace for me in this book. I'm not really that far into it. I need to get back into it. This is session number 177 of Cardroom Live. If you haven't been able to tell already, this is not a show. Although people like to call it a show. In fact, I just got a text message from Jason, the Everyday Card Collector, who said he's not going to be able to be here because he's at Wrigley Field right now for a concert. I'm sure he doesn't mind me telling you that, but he said, have a great show. Jason, if you're listening to this later, this is not a show. This is a hangout for fellow vintage collectors, whether we have guests or not, and we most definitely have nothing planned for tonight. Most of the time, we are wasting time looking at and talking about old cardboard. And through the past 5 years or so, we have made it, or tried to make it, time well wasted. So if you're here with us live, welcome to you. Welcome to my fellow YouTubers, to the commenters, to the folks who don't necessarily comment or show up online, but they're there. We sense your presence, and we're glad you're there. The folks from all over social media land. If you're new to Cardroom Live, don't be afraid to say hello. You are among cardboard friends in the chat, at the bar. This is the live stream, after all, where everybody knows your name. If we don't know yours, give us a few tries. We'll learn it soon enough. On the other hand, you may be listening to this later, and you might be coming home from work, going to work, sorting cards, looking at eBay or auction sites, rolling out those meatballs, walking the dog, sitting on the john, putting the kids to bed, battling raccoons in the backyard, wondering if Eddie Wakis will come up in conversation. There's always a distinct possibility of that happening. Wondering what other kind of Mike foolery we will get into tonight. Whatever you might be doing or thinking, I do hope you get something out of the next hour or so. If you want to get in touch or have ideas for future sessions, you can always email me at bowman53channel@gmail.com. You can also find me on all sorts of social media links, and the handles can be found in the description below. This session of Cardroom Live is brought to you none other than by Topps Baseball Picture Cards. Giant-sized images of your favorite players from the 1952 season, featuring full-color reproduction images, complete statistical records, and intimate biographical sketches on each card. Every fan is going to want one of these. Here's an example right here. Here's Monty Irvin of those New York Giants. You can see that full color reproduction image on the front, as well as the intimate biographical sketch and statistical information on the back of the card. Here's another example. You may have heard of this gentleman. I'm trying to get this light out of the... I tried to put my light in a different position, and now I'm having all sorts of trouble with it. Andy Pafko. Card number 1, as you can see here. And here's one more, another nice portrait. Mr. Eddie Lopat. Beautiful cards from a beautiful set. Just think of it, guys. Giant cards plus 5/8 ounce of bubble gum. included in each pack. It's the finest series ever published, according to Topps. Get them today, courtesy of Topps Chewing Gum Incorporated of Brooklyn, New York, USA. So good evening to everybody, and happy Crusty Cardboard to all of you. It is July 12th. We are near or at the All-Star break. My Phillies are a couple games behind the Braves after having completely tanked the first month or so of the season. So at least they're playing reasonably good baseball, certainly compared to where they were at the beginning of the season. Nothing planned tonight, no guests, no topic. But I've got plenty on my mind, and there's plenty of folks at the bar. So if you guys have any topics or want to hop in the chat and share some thoughts and some cards, feel free. Let's see who's here. Mr. Jacob Dahl is here. Mike, the sports history collector, who hold and wrench, just stop by to open the bar and say hi to the greatest host and wrench holders on YouTube. Oh, yeah. And Scott. Thanks so much, Mike. The check's in the mail. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Mike, hope you're doing okay, and good to see you here. Mr. Tony from Psyched Out Baseball Cards, the Hall of Fame YouTuber, is here. Good thing the bar's open. Just finished a ravioli dinner and sipping some Cabernet, waiting for the show to begin. So Tony's really trying to class up the joint, and we're totally okay with that. Spartan Card Collector with a bit of news. The wife picked up a green egg for his birthday last week. Never gas grilling again. Now it's time for card talk. Well, maybe it's time for grilling. Now I'm getting hungry. Peter B is here. Carlisle Rude, the battery is here. Good to see you, sir. Kurt in Brooklyn here. The Crusty Cardboard folks are here. Mr. Wrenchholder Stuke is here. Ruben Snyder is here. Can we get some new snacks here at the bar? And that must mean that Ruben is noticing that all the snacks have expired. So we should probably do something about that. Reese, ND Card Ranger, is here. Who's in charge of the pickled eggs? Lonely Basement Baseball Cards is here. Sven Patrick is here. Pastor Craig's Vintage Cards is here. Mr. Wilhelm 88. I'll take a Budweiser and a Shadowmiller. Okay. Yeah. If only this were all really happening. Chris from Missouri is here. There he is, the man responsible for my autographed Al Dark card. Coach Neil is here. Good to see you. ET Card Collector, what's up, everybody? Working on my next video now, but a few weeks since I last posted, as my father-in-law passed away unexpectedly. So getting back into the cards after a few weeks off. So obviously, my condolences to you and to your family. That's incredibly hard news, difficult time, and I hope you and your family are doing okay. And obviously, at times like this, it makes a lot of sense to take a break from the hobby stuff. But looking forward to your next video. Melissa, the sports guru, is here. His cousin Al Light was a decent player too. I like it. Andy, the dog ate my card, is here. A's fan Jim is here. Good to see you, sir. Mitchell, the White Sox fan card collector, is here. Good evening, my cardboard collecting friends. The Royal Rooter 1912. I like your handle and your avatar. Very cool. Welcome to you. Glad to see you here. Jayhawker Vintage Cards is here. Dan's Vintage Baseball PC is here. Good to see you, Dan. Larry is here. Dan, Mike is confused by your channel name. Mike, if you just pay attention to the first 10 seconds of any video Dan makes, he'll explain it for you. Which card is displayed in your card room? Is it the Al Dark, or is it the Eddie Lopat, or is it the Monty Irvin? There's been so many cards so far. Nicholas, I asked for the Bowman Baloney Bubblegum Gum, and they didn't have any. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the sponsors of this live stream don't exist anymore. With the exception of like maybe Tops or Wheaties, right? But usually the promotions that I'm offering also don't exist. So um, it's the unfortunate state of things here on Cardroom Live. Coach Neil Go feels that's right. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about the Phillies, honestly, but going to root for them nonetheless. Can't help it. Orlando Collector's Dream is here. Let's see who else is here. I went from one bad team to another. Tony. The Monty Irvin. Yes. Yeah. This is even if you're not collecting 52 Topps cards, I feel like this is kind of an all-timer in terms of just great looking cards. I think this is probably my favorite Monty Irvin card. I'm trying to think of his others in my head real quick. I also like the 51 game card. I know it's basically the same image, but I think this is probably my favorite Monty card. Really quick, before I'm going to open up the chat conversation topic, anything you guys want to talk about. I wanted to plug a fellow community member, fellow YouTuber on the occasion of a really incredible accomplishment. And that is none other than our friend, the Battery, Carlisle Rude. So what I want to do real quick before I get into this, I'm not prepared, is I want to make sure that I share his channel in the chat. Maybe somebody else, I don't know if Scott is here, if he can get to it faster than I can. He can't because I just posted it. Here's Carlisle's channel. Longtime YouTuber, Braves fan. But the reason I want to give, I'll leave this up on the screen. The reason I want to give Carlisle a shout out is because Carlisle recently published a book called The 50 Braves Ball Cards Worth Collecting from Boston to Milwaukee to Atlanta. And he was kind enough to send me a copy of this book. Totally out of the blue, got a wonderful email from Carlisle letting me know that he had this book. And it was kind of in reaction to the Hank Aaron video that I did a while back. And you want to look at the spine here. Nice shot of Hank right there. Here's the back. Really incredible. How many of us in this community can say that we've published a book? I want to share the screen on Amazon. And I'm going to read this real quick, and I'll post this link in the chat as well. The 50 Braves ball cards worth collecting from Boston to Milwaukee to Atlanta. And here's the link. It's kind of, it's really lengthy. Let me see if I can make, before I read this for you guys, let me see if I can make a shorter link that's a little less insane. So that it's a little easier to click on. Amazon likes to just go on and on with their links. Here's a much easier link to click on. That'll take you to the same place. But again, the description on Amazon says the 50 Braves ball cards worth collecting shares baseball cards and stories of the Braves franchise from 1887 to the present day. 50 elite players are featured, as well as many other Hall of Famers, stars, and characters that represented the franchise in Boston, Milwaukee, and Atlanta. Iconic national sets are featured, like Topps, Bowman, Leaf, Gowdy, and Upper Deck. Regional issues like Johnston Cookies and Lake to Lake Dairy are included, as well, as all of us would expect. Even the pre-war tobacco issues make an appearance, like the Monster T206 set. The cards feature the Bean Eaters, the Doves, the Rustlers, the Bees, and the Braves, of course, whether they played at Braves Field, Milwaukee County Stadium, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, Turner Field, or Truist Park. From Henry Aaron to Cy Young or Ronald Acuna Jr. to Mark Wohlers, every era and every great team from this historic franchise is celebrated. Really cool. And proud of our friend Carlisle for putting this together. And so, very extensive. What's really cool is, obviously he's highlighting 50 of his particular choices, and I'll spoil it for you guys. I'm sure nobody's terribly surprised that this would be the first card chosen. But what's nice about this is, as Carlisle does on his channel, he's got these really nice scans of the particular card, and also a nice little write-up both about the player and the card itself. I'm sure, just kind of looking through it, some of the cards are going to get a little bit more of a write-up than others, but it's not just about the card. He'll also write about the particular set that card is from. So you can see 1954 Topps is discussed here. And then there's other Hank Aaron cards of interest, which, he kind of pulls aside and talks about here. And you can see a lot of really classic Hank Aaron cards. Of course, the Aaron and the Mantle card and the reverse negative, and of course the Johnston Cookies card. So really great, really extensive information in here. He's clearly put a lot of effort into this. A lot of research goes into this. And what I think is really cool about it is that it really kind of spans the entire hobby in terms of vintage, modern, mainstream, obscure. Hey, there's a nice looking card. Who doesn't like that card? And again, sort of pulling out little tidbits of interesting information, not just about the cards, but about the sets that they belong to. I was specifically reading this thing about Warren Spahn, and there's some information in here that I was so happy to see. He talks about some of the photographers, and in this section about 53 Bowman, he mentions the photographer behind the Pee Wee Reese card. And, that's something that I was very excited to discover. And, the other thing I really like about this book, let me see if I can find it, is there's an extensive sort of sources and bibliography section in here. And hey, what card book would be complete without some references to that Bowman 53 channel? So I was really tickled and touched to see that in here. Thank you for the references, Carlisle. It's kind of fun and humbling to think that some videos that I've made may have helped other people, especially when it comes to putting something together like this. This is really incredible. So again, congratulations, Carlisle. I hope all of you guys look this up on Amazon, get yourself a copy. The thing I like about this is I may hate the Braves in the standings, but I'm thrilled to to see all these cards and to look through this book. That's the thing about, I think that's the thing about card collecting is, I might not like certain teams, as a fan in 2026, but I'm certainly interested in those teams' histories. And this is definitely the case with this book. So again, congratulations, sir. Yes, it is very cool. Congratulations. Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Can we get it autographed? That's a great question. Maybe we need to go to the National or to Strongsville or something. Yeah, absolutely. You especially should get a copy, sir. Good to see you, Matt. Jacob says he needs the book. Going to pick it up. Fantastic. Which John Rocker example did you choose? Man, I thought the 48 Bowman Spawn would have been number one. Hey, man, to each their own. What's my favorite Braves card from the 53 Bowman? It has to be the Warren Spawn, right? Just thinking about them off the top of my head, I will give the Joe Adcock card a shout out because that's not a card that gets a lot of love. I think certainly the Warren Spawn card gets a lot of love. The Eddie Matthews card. I'm trying to think of what other Braves cards are sort of the go-to in 53 Bowman. I would say that it's probably those two, right? But I really think the Joe Adcock card is kind of beautiful, nice blue sky. You've got me thinking now, Craig. I might pull the box here and go through in just a second if nobody else has any comments, and maybe I'll pull out all the Braves cards. There's a diamond star on the cover. That's right. You can't think of a Cardinal card you want to own. Really? There's no Stan Musial cards that you would ever want to own. I find that hard to believe. Sam Jethro. There you go. That's a great one. The Braves maybe used to be America's team when Ted Turner shoved them down our throat, but I no longer believe that that's the case. Sorry. This is the beast, guys. This is where all the 53 Bowman color cards live. I did a video about this box ages ago when I first had it built. But I'm going to waste your guys' time and look through this set and find all of the Braves cards. Here's Sam. Did I just miss one? I did. I don't have all of the 53 in this case at the moment. Some of them are on display in the background. Some are in a pile for making videos, but I think most of the Braves cards should be in here. So this shouldn't take too long. Besides, who doesn't love the sound of sifting through cards? This is a very specific sound for me. This particular sound of these slabs in this case always make me think of this particular set. It's a very comforting sound. Little did I know I would be pulling all the Braves cards out of this. Just goes to show you what happens on Card Room Live. This is definitely the most random thing we've done on this Not a Show in some time. And I wholeheartedly welcome it. It's been a while since I've flipped through all of these like this. It's always nice to see them go by. There's a couple more up here. Joe Adcock, I think, is up here. There he is. And there's a relief pitcher in here. And I think that's probably it. I think I got them all. So let's have a look. Let's do a Braves team set showcase. All right. Now let's ask Alex to sort the entire set by team. I might do it. I just might do it. I did, for those of you that have been around my channel long enough, you may remember when I did team set videos for each of the team in this set. and like sort of mini documentaries to go along with each of them. Those were a lot of fun to do. They were a lot of work, but lots of fun to do. That's right, Alex, featuring Braves cards. Well, I just did a video about New York cards, so this is sort of me trying to, balance it out a little bit. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, so yeah, still New York stuff going on, right? Still Philly stuff going on, but we'll be that's right. It's our Carnival of Sports Card Fun. That's right. Okay, so let's take a look and let's appreciate these Braves cards. Now, as I'm sure many of you know, all the Braves players in this set have a nice big B on their cap for Boston, of course. And that's because, well, I should mention that the back of the cards sometimes say Boston. And sometimes say Milwaukee. It's kind of hit or miss. Some of them still say Boston, but like, for example, the manager card for Charlie Grimm says Milwaukee. And that's, of course, because these photographs were taken the year before they left Boston for Milwaukee. But because airbrushing was not really, I don't know if it was possible or not possible at the time, technologically speaking, but I'm glad they didn't do it because, as we all know, airbrushing is kind of a recipe for disaster. And I don't think these cards would be as special as they are if they had tried to, mess with them. Anyway, so here is Sam Jethro. Beautiful card. I like this one, and this one was among the very first Bowman color cards I ever had as a teenager. Card number 5, Sid Gordon. Nice card. Card number 37, Jim Wilson, who's flashing a nice grin and a grip on the baseball, which is always fun in this set. There's a whole subset of players and their pitchers and their grips. I've done a few videos on that too, and some Instagram posts about it. So here's the manager card, Charlie Grimm, who, of course, was a player earlier in his life and has some pre-war cards. Jack Daniels, who, of course, always makes you think of an adult beverage. Jack Daniels looks like somebody's teenage son somehow snuck onto the Braves team. Jack is a good defensive performer and has a rifle throwing arm. He's also very fast afoot. He has the ability to draw bases on balls, which can be as valuable to a team as hitting homers. They're really just taking up space here, aren't they? In 1951, with Hartford, he led the Eastern League with 114 walks. He was a 3-sports star in high school, earning 4 letters in baseball, 3 in basketball, and 1 in football. That's a sign that they didn't really have much to say about Jack yet in his major league career. Now, here's a card everybody knows. Eddie Matthews. In a near mint 7, not something I really pay attention to anymore, but I look at that and I think, goodness, I never would even try to get this card in a near mint 7 today. But I didn't get it in a near mint 7. I don't know. This building this set was a unique experience because I had my own particular quirks about condition that I was looking for, and probably the biggest one was centering and registration. And I guess I had trouble with this one. And so I had to climb the ladder a little bit in terms of the grade. Not to say that you couldn't find one as centered at a lower grade, but I guess I was having trouble at the time. But it's a nice looking card, right? It's a great card. Let me fix this light. This ring light is driving me nuts. Live production technical adjustments. This is where it normally is. That's probably better for the cards. This has got to be the best Braves card in this set, right? Warren Spahn, number, what is it, 99. There's an alternate, I mean, every one of these cards has alternate photographs that were not used. Most of them have never been seen because the negatives are not public. I've looked. I continue to look. But there are a handful of alternative proof cards that are out there, and there's one of Warren Spahn that's very, very different from this photograph. It's from the same photo shoot, but it's very different from this one, and it's also kind of cool. But I'm glad they went with this one. Warren is one of the best pitchers in baseball, period. That's the first sentence. He's wonderful to watch on the mound. That's the second sentence. You can imagine the rest. So here's my shout out for underappreciated card in this set. I think this card is really gorgeous. And I think this is an equally underappreciated player from this time period. Joe Adcock, look at that card. That is a gorgeous card. If you're a Braves fan and you collect this era, you have to collect Joe Adcock and you have to get this card, I would say. Beautiful card. And, I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about Joe Adcock when I first got the card, but that was kind of the fun of collecting this set, was that as I got the cards, I began to look up the players and learn about them. And Joe Adcock was a very prolific hitter. Joe is the snappy fielding first baseman the Braves obtained in a big 4-team deal shortly after the first of the year. He can also play the outfield. He did so for the Reds in 52. He hit 278. I was going to say 378. He hit 278. He had 13 home runs. However, Joe prefers to play at first. It's expected that the Braves will see him there exclusively. Joe's been in baseball since 47. He batted .293 for the Reds as a rookie in 1950. So, yeah, that's my vote for most beautiful, underappreciated Braves card in this set. Joe Adcock would either hit a home run or get hit by a pitch, which either way helps the team. Doesn't feel good, but that's great. Very cool, Tony. I saw Spahn get a pinch hit 10th inning single in 1958 against the Giants. I mean, that's what Cardroom Live is all about, right? The card is cool, but to hear the story behind somebody's memory of actually seeing the guy play is all the better. Thanks for sharing that, Tony. Last card. High number card number 156 out of 160. Max Sircon. Look at this big guy. May very well be a spring training photograph because you can't really see the backdrop. Max is a tough, crafty pitcher. He was in 31 games for the Boston Braves in 1952. He won 12 and lost 13. Well, at least they're being honest. His earned run average was, 377. He walked 76 men and struck out 125. He's been in baseball since 38. He spent 49 with Chicago White Sox. There you go, Mitchell, a White Sox mention. The Midwest does exist. on this live stream. After spending the 1950 season with Sacramento, he joined the Braves at the end of the season and has remained with them ever since. So there you go. Yeah, again, high number cards in this set, I guess, for some people, not cards that you often come across. Crafty is the descriptor of death for pitchers. That's right. Hello and welcome. Milwaukee fans would bring sausages and brats for Serkan to the ballpark. He ate them all. Basically, he ate his way out of baseball. Sure, it looks like it, right? Sure, it looks like it. With those stats, he'd be a top 10 pitcher today. That's right. That's right. It's astonishing to me. What passes as average in baseball today? Not just pitching, but offense or defense for that matter. Really, the whole damn thing. Mitchell County Stadium was a blast. Miss it. So fun to look at these Braves cards. Let me flash a couple of them real quick. Eddie Matthews. And let's get right to maybe the nicest one too. Another nice one, Sam Jethro. So again, hope you guys will check out Carlisle's book. Let's see what else is going on. Anybody got any topics? Where we've got 20 minutes left. What are you guys in the mood to chat about? Hobby Palooza, I'll mention really quickly, is next weekend. So make sure you're checking out For Collectors for all the information. Card Room Live will be happening on the 19th, which is Sunday, but it will be at it will not be at the usual time. It will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the reason for that is because I will actually be in the middle of traveling and would be on my way home on a flight at 8 p.m. Sunday, which means I wouldn't be able to do it. So I talked to John, 3D80s Kid, and was fortunate to be able to get a slot at 3 p.m. to keep the thing going, because I've been doing Hobby Palooza pretty much, I think, since it started, and I don't want to break that. And it's always fun. We'll be doing a round of show a card with some special guests. And the good thing is I don't have to be home, so I don't need to have access to my cards because the guests will be showing the cards. I'll just be emceeing. And it'll be a good one. It'll be a fun time, a good time. Hobby Palooza is always great, whether you're going to the National or not. It's a great way to enjoy each other, enjoy lots of different perspectives and ideas and cards and collecting styles. And so that'll be great. It'll be Sunday, again at 3 p.m. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what the World Cup is, but I hope you're around. Absolutely, Orlando. It's going to be great. I think there's a really good lineup. Anybody got any topics? Any cards you want to look up? Let me know. Otherwise, we'll just sit in silence. We're not afraid of silence on this live stream. What's your favorite food issue from the 1950s? I always feel funny mentioning a favorite when I don't yet have cards from certain sets, because there's, you can, I don't know if you guys have experienced this. You can look at cards online. You can see images of cards on eBay, on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever. And you can think, oh, that's a cool card. But it's an entirely different thing to see the card in person. And so it can kind of swing both ways in that regard. I say that because there's a ton of food issues from the 50s that I don't yet have examples of. And it's not because I don't want to, I just haven't gotten around to it. So like, I'm trying to think. Of like different ones. There's Briggs, Meats, of course. I don't have any of those. Wilson Franks. I kind of feel like I might fall in love with Wilson Franks when I finally get one. I like them a lot. I don't have any of them yet. I have some like bookmarked that I would like to get at some point. They're damn expensive. Red Heart, probably, can we count dog food as a food issue? Red Heart is way up there, I'm sure. Wheaties counts as a food issue, right? Wheaties, which we're going to talk about in a couple weeks. It's a future Card Room Live session that actually got pushed back. That's another big favorite of mine. I like Stallmeyer. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I do like it. What about the rest of you guys? Any strong feelings? Mother's Cookies for sure. That's a good one. Red Heart. Let's talk about how bad the Mets are. I'm always up for that. I'm trying to resist. Don't get me started, Mike. Is dog food? I think Red Heart counts. Max, he said 50s food issue. I know you're an old timey guy, but he said food issue. Okay, let's look up this card. Hello, Max. 1913 Z-Note. Mundorf. Howard Mundorf. I'm going to get this photograph nice and big so we can see what's happening here. This is an unusual one. I would expect nothing less from you, Max. What's going on in this card? Let's take a look. Here he is, if this is the one that you mean. 1913 Z-Nut Mundorf. What's going on here? I mean, it looks like he's supposed to be swinging a bat. But there's no bat. I can't really wrap my head around this. I would love to hear your thoughts on this card, Max. I'm going to leave it up until you. Going back to the food issues, Stuke says Johnston cookies for the Braves. When you're desperate, dog food is an option. Very true, Mitchell. Orlando for me, Wilson Franks for food, Red Heart for dog food, and Hires root beer for drinks. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I like Hires, and I always like to mention that the Hires cards was originally the prototype for the 56 Bowman set, which of course never happened. It was originally a prototype for them, and then it got used for Hires. Dandy. I think those cards are underappreciated. I think they're pretty interesting. There are a couple of those that I would like to get as well. I have a couple of those bookmarked. Melissa also says Dandy Chips. Spick and Span for cleaners. Fair enough. What's up, Big Six? Wholesome bread. Tony says I worked for a summer job for Kellogg's managing the Frosted Flakes line. Think about that. I could use some Frosted Flakes right now. Oh, 1914. Okay, well, I was just like fascinated by what the heck is happening in this card. So let me look up 1914. Okay, this is a much jollier card. Let me see if I can pull this up. Give me one sec. Where did it go? There it is. Look at this card. Is this the one, Max? I hope so, because this is another fascinating card. Here he is. 1914, Zenit, Mundorf. And he just looks absolutely thrilled to be playing the game of baseball. And he's doing a bit of an acrobatic feat here. That's a great card. I like it. Nice choice. 1913 is bad, but 14 is wild. Yeah, I agree. Red Man for tobacco to share with your kids. That's right. Yeah. And wasn't it Red Man that like had giveaways that included like caps and things? You know, different time. Exhibits, fair enough. Yes, this is my guy. I like it. Jenny playing ball. The old thick-handled bat from Mundorf. That's right. Look at that. There's no taper at all. It's just like a pipe. He's just swinging a pipe. Looks like he's trying to smash a car window in that car. Yeah, in that card. And he's having a good time doing it. That's a great choice. I love Zenit cards. If I had more time in my hobby life, I would collect Zenits. I think at some point I will collect Zenits raw and just like make an album for fun at some point. The No Bat Zenit reminded me of the 1958 Bill Tuttle. Let's check that out. Oops, typed in the wrong. '58. Or do you mean 59, Greg? Because the 59 feels like kind of an optical illusion of no bat. Right? You can see the knob. Or did you have a different number in mind? Oh, wrong card. Okay, well, it kind of works. Gotcha. Well, I've got some cards sitting here that are non-New York cards. Here's a 1956 Topps card. I know this is a favorite of many people in terms of the set. I like this card because it is a Philly player, but I also really got it because I just love the backdrop. Andy Seminick. You know, first of all, it's a catcher card. Second of all, it's a catcher card where he's taking off his mask, ready to catch a foul ball. Third, he's in the expansive polo grounds. So this just checks a lot of boxes for me. For other people, this may just be a card that you could flip by and not really pay it much mind. But to me, this is a really fun card. Um, I'll do a couple shout outs to some fellow collectors. I think I have some cards in here that are tied to a few folks. Let's see. Yeah. Shout out to the baseball time traveler, who I have not seen in some time. I hope you're doing well out there. These are two cards that I got from him. A couple of years ago at the National. And so I certainly think of him when I see these two cards. These two cards were on my list. He happened to have them, and I was happy to do a deal with him. This is a card that was gifted to me by our friend Nina, another YouTuber that's not around as much. Shout out to Nina. Hope you're doing well out there. This is a card that I had mentioned being a fan of, and she very generously gifted it to me. Just a random card that came up in a Card Room live session, and I just really like the composition. Of course, it's a great player. Shout out to Jason, Everyday Card Collector, and of course Mitchell for Billy Pierce, but it's also just a really nice card. So think of her when I look at that card. Here's another YouTuber that I don't see too much anymore. Nobody has in a while. Caitlin, A League of Their Own. Some of you probably have not even heard of her. She had a fantastic channel. It still exists, and she gifted me this card a long time ago. Beautiful Richie Ashburn in great condition. And a wrench holder, Mr. Don from Don's Field of Dreams. Bought this card from him a while back, and I still have his note attached to it. Always makes me think of Don. And here's another card that was gifted to me, kind of actually a cut. I think it's cut out of a newspaper. It's a really great, unusual photograph of Richie Ashburn, who's tossing his bat and running to first base. And this was gifted to me by G's Mikey. You can see it's been signed. It's got a PSA DNA certification, and it's been slabbed. Just a fun action shot. He sent this to me years ago, and it is in display with my other Philly stuff. And then last but not least, this card always makes me think of our friend Scott, Reindeer Studios, who just loves this card so much. And every time I look at it, I think of him and how this is his favorite card in the whole world. Sometimes I send that photograph to Scott just for fun, just like a random text. Absolutely. I'm so glad that Mikey, I think he started like around the same time I did, maybe a little earlier than I did. So I kind of think of him like, I don't know if you guys that are YouTubers do this. You kind of think of like the group that you were with when you started, more or less. And I think of Mikey that way. And so I'm glad he's still out there doing stuff. I think of Tony that way. Tony maybe started a little earlier than I did. So I'm glad Tony's still making videos. No, he's the Phillies Hall of Fame great, Richie Ashburn. If you look at his Hall of Fame plaque, he's got a Phillies cap on. Just to be clear, Andy. Alex, I recently realized that the 56 Topps Don Zimmer is doing the 53 Bowman Pee Wee Hop. I have that card, and I got it precisely for that reason. I think everybody liked doing that little jump, and I think photographers liked taking that picture. at the time because it's kind of fun and that's a great card. Yeah, I agree. TJ's online. Better late than never. That's right. Mitchell, if you're not careful, I may never show a White Sox card again. So just be ready. I only care about 1960s cards. I hear you. I only care about the 50s. That's not entirely true. I care about other eras, but I tend to live in the 50s, I guess. Mookie would bring up Ashburn as a Met, so he owes me, right? Mookie, if you're out there. All right, here's some other. Well, here's another Braves card. How about that? One of my favorite 53 tops. A nice number 2 54 tops. And a PSA 2. For some reason, when I was getting a lot of these 54 tops, I had a lot of really good luck with like 1s and 2s in terms of grades. They looked way better than the grade they were assigned. And then here's a whole bunch of Minnie Minoso for you White Sox lovers out there. Look at that. Just enough Minnie Minoso to make the world go round. And then another 53 tops that's among my favorites. This is a really nice rendering, I think, of Bob Feller. And of course, it's cool to see the fence and the signage in the background. One last card that's sitting here. Granny Hamner. I've talked about this card before. I just really like the composition of how these two separate images go together. Every now and then, with these card sets that have two separate images, Topps tended to do this a lot. 56, 54, 1960. There's a handful of sets where there's like two images of the same guy. Every now and then there's like a great combination of two separate images of the same player, and I think this is one of them. That could be a whole not a show. I might write that down as a potential future session. Okay, good, because I like Chicago. I haven't been for a couple of years. Looks like his fist is the size of my head. Granny Hamner's World War II vet, like a lot of these guys, right? Like a quite a number of these guys. Well, guys, it's been an hour well wasted. This was a lot of fun for me. This takes me back to the origins of Cardinal Live when I would really just go live and had zero plan. And whatever happened, happened. And I had a great time, and I hope you guys did too. We'll do it again. Hobbypalooza next Sunday, but at 3 p.m. Eastern time, not 8 p.m. But then after that, we'll get back into the regular schedule. So I hope you guys will jump over to 4 Collectors at 9. Until next Sunday afternoon, the bar is closed. Have a great week, everybody, and take care.